Okay, ladies and gentlemen, everyone's here. If there's anything you need, I'll be right outside. Just knock.
I never knew they did that.
Sure they did. What do you think?
I don't know, it just never occurred to me.
6 days. Should have finished it in 2. Talk, talk, talk. Did you ever hear so much talk about nothing?
Well, I guess they're entitled.
Everybody gets a fair trial. That's the system. I suppose you can't say anything about it, though.
So how do you like that business about the knife? Did you ever hear phone hear story?
Well, don't you know what you're dealing with?
You bought a switch knife that
Then
night.
he lost it.
Hole in his pocket?
A hole in his father.
An awful way to kill your father. A knife in the chest.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take our seats. Lady at the window, how about taking your seat?
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, we can do this any way you want to. I don't have to make any rules, do I? We can talk now and vote later, or we can vote now and see where everyone stands.
Let's vote now. Who knows, maybe we'd all go home.
Yeah, let's see who's where.
Right, let's vote.
Voting guilty, raise your hand. Guilty. Vote is now 11-1 in favor of guilty. Let's get started.
Do you really believe he's not guilty?
I don't know.
After 6 days, she doesn't know.
You sat right in court, heard the same things I did. The man's a dangerous killer. He knifed his father 4 inches into his chest. They proved it a dozen different ways. Would you like me to list them for you?
No.
Do you believe that stupid story he's told?
Now.
Do you believe the kid's story?
I don't know whether I believe it or not. Maybe I don't.
So what'd you vote not guilty for?
There were 11 votes for guilty, and it's not so easy for me to raise my hand and send a boy off to die without talking about it first.
Who says it was easy for me?
No one?
Is there something wrong because I voted fast? I think the guy's guilty. You couldn't change his mind if he talked for 100 years.
I don't want to change your mind.
Then what are you thinking of?
I want to talk about it for a while. Look, this kid's been kicked around all his life. You know, living in a slum. His mother died since he was 9. I think maybe we owe him a few words. That's all.
I don't mind telling this lady. We don't owe a kid a thing. He got a trial, did he? You know what trial cost? Lucky he got it. Look, we all grown up there, and you're not going to tell us that we're supposed to believe what he said. You know that.
I don't know that. What a terrible thing for a man to believe.
All right.
What this man says is very dangerous.
If we're going to discuss the case, let's just discuss the facts.
You make a good point. We have a job to do. Let's get to it.
You know, I may have an idea here. I'm just talking out loud, but it seems to me that it's up to us to convince this lady. How about we each talk a minute or two, you know, try it on for size?
Sounds like a good idea. Suppose we go around the table. We'll start with you.
Well, I just think the boy's guilty. I mean, nobody proved otherwise.
Nobody has to prove otherwise. Innocent until proven guilty. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. The defendant doesn't have to open his mouth. That's in the Constitution, the 5th Amendment. You've heard of it?
Well, of course I've heard of it. I know what it is. I just don't agree with it.
Okay, let's get to the facts. Number 1, let's take the old man who lived on the apartment right underneath the room where the killing took place. At 10 minutes after 12 on the night of the killing, he said he heard loud noises coming from the apartment upstairs. He said it sounded like a fight. Then he heard the kid shout, "I'm gonna kill you." A second later, he heard a body falling. He ran to the door, looked out, saw the kid running down the stairs and out of the house. Then he called the police.
The coroner did fix the time of death around midnight.
Right, now what else do you want?
I don't know, it doesn't seem to fit.
The boy's entire story was flimsy. He claimed just the movies that night. That's a little ridiculous, isn't it? He couldn't even remember what picture he saw.
That's right. Did you hear that? He's absolutely right.
Listen, what about the one across the street? If our testimony don't prove, then nothing does.
That's right, she saw the killing.
Now let's go in order here.
Just a minute. Here's a woman can't sleep. It's tight. It's tight, you know. She wakes up, went towards the window, and saw the boy taking down to his father.
How can she be really sure it was the kid when she saw through the windows of a passing elevated train?
She know the kid of his life. His window is opposite of hers. She swore she saw him do it. They proved in court that you see outside of a passing L train at night and see what happened on the other side. They proved it.
I have to ask you something. How come you believed her? She's one of them too, isn't she?
They're pretty smart lady, aren't you?
Now calm down.
Calm down. What are you letting her get you all upset for? Relax.
Everyone just calm down. All right, it's your turn.
I'll pass.
That's your privilege. What about you?
I don't know. I thought it was obvious, you know, with the argument from the people across the hall.
Then they claim to hear it about 7 o'clock that night.
I think it was 8 o'clock, not 7.
That's right, 8 o'clock.
They heard the father hit the boy twice and saw the boy walk angrily out of the house.
What does that prove?
Well, it doesn't prove anything. I was just saying that's part of the story. It didn't say it proved anything.
That it?
I don't know. Most have been said already. I mean, look at the kid's record. He stole a car, he's been arrested for mugging, he was picked up at knife fighting. At age 15, he was in reform school. He's a very fine boy.
Ever since he was 5 years old, his father beat him up regularly. He used his fists.
So would I, a kid like that.
You're right. It's the kids, the way they are. You know, they don't listen. I've got a kid, and when he was 8 years old, he ran away from a fight. I saw him and I was so ashamed. I told him right out, I'm going to make a man out of you, or I'm going to bust you up into little pieces trying. When he was 15, he hit me in the face. Rotten kid, I hate tough kids. You work your heart out and... Alright, let's get on with it.
Okay, we're missing the point here. This boy, let's say he's the product of a filthy neighborhood and a broken home. We can't help that. We're not here to go into reasons why slums are breeding grounds for criminals. They are. I know it, and so do you. The children who come out of slum backgrounds are potential menaces to society.
You said it there. I don't want any part of it. Believe me.
I lived in a slum all my life.
Now wait a second.
I used to play in backyards that were filled with garbage. Maybe it still smells on me.
Now let's be reasonable. There's nothing personal.
There is something personal!
Calm down, feller. He didn't mean you. Let's not be so sensitive.
I can understand the sensitivity.
We're wasting time here.
Alright, it's your turn.
Are you going to make your case?
I don't know. Go on with it.
Alright, let's talk about that switch knife. You know, the one the fine upright boy admitted buying.
Alright, let's talk about it. Let's get it in here and let's look at it. I'd like to see it again, Mr. Foreman.
The storekeeper identified the knife and said it was the only one of its kind he had in stock. Am I right so far?
Right.
Next, the boy claims that on his way home, the knife must have fallen through a hole in his coat pocket, and they never saw it again. Now there's a story. Everyone connected with the case identified this knife. Now you trying to tell me that someone picked it up off the street, went up to the boy's house and stabbed his father with it just to be amusing?
No, I'm saying it's possible that the boy lost a knife and that someone else stabbed his father with a similar knife. It's possible.
Take a look at that knife. It's a very strange knife. I've never seen one like it before in my life. Neither had the storekeeper who sold it to him. Now aren't you trying to make us believe a pretty incredible coincidence?
I'm not trying to make anyone believe it. I'm just saying it's possible.
And I'm saying it's not possible.
What
is this?
What's
What's going on here?
Where'd you get it?
I got it at a little junk shop around the corner from the boy's house. It cost $2.
Now you listen to me.
I'm listening.
You pulled a real smart trick here, but you proved absolutely nothing. So what if there are 10 knives like that?
Maybe there are.
The boy lied about it and you know it.
He may have lied. Do you think he lied?
Sure he lied.
Do you?
You don't have to ask me that. You know my answer. He lied.
Do you think he lied?
I don't know.
Wait a second. What are you, the guy's lawyer? Listen, there's still 11 of us who think he's guilty. You're alone. What are you going to accomplish? If you want to be stubborn and hang this jury, if we try to get him found guilty, sure as he's born.
You're probably right.
So what are you going to do about it? We could be here all night.
It's only one night. A boy may die.
Well, what do you say? You're the one holding up the show.
I have a proposition to make. I want you 11 to vote by secret ballot. I'll abstain. If there are still 11 votes for guilty, I won't stand alone, and we'll send a guilty verdict into the judge right now.
Let's roll it.
Guilty. 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 Guilty.
That's 6.
Please. Guilty. 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 Not guilty. Guilty.
How do you like that?
Who was it? I think we have the right to know.
Who did it? What idiot changed his vote?
Excuse me, this was a secret ballot.
What do you mean? There are no secrets here. I know who it was. What's the matter with you? You come in here and you vote guilty like everybody else, and suddenly this slick preacher starts to tear your heart out with stories about a poor little boy who couldn't just help but becoming a murderer. So you change your vote. If this isn't the most sickening... We're trying to put a guilty man in the chair where he belongs, and all of a sudden you're paying attention to fairy tales?
Now wait just a minute.
What made you change your vote?
I want to know too.
He doesn't have to tell you anything. He didn't change his vote. I did.
Would you like to know why?
Let me tell
Would
you.
you like to know why?
The man wants to talk.
Thank you. This woman chose not to stand alone, so she gambled for our support, and I gave it to her. I want to hear more. Vote's now 10-2.
Supposing you explain to us what your reasonable doubts are.
This isn't easy. Right now it's just a feeling I have.
A feeling? Where's the facts?
You said a mouthful. Look, the old man heard a kid shout, "I'm gonna kill you," and he heard a body falling 15 seconds after that.
Where's the reasonable doubt in that?
That's right. Let's not forget about the woman across the street. She looked into the open window and she saw the boy stab his father. She saw it.
She saw the killing through the windows of a passing elevated train. The train had 5 cars and she saw it through the windows of the last 2. She remembers the most insignificant details.
Well, what have you got to say about that?
I don't know. Doesn't seem to fit.
Well, supposing you think about it. Lend me your pencil.
This isn't a game.
Now wait a second. Who do you think you are?
Now take it easy.
I've got half a mind to walk around this table and belt her one.
I won't have any fights breaking out in here.
The nerve. The absolute nerve.
All right, calm down.
This isn't a game. Who does she think she is?
Alright, how long does it take an elevated train going at top speed to pass a given point?
Wouldn't have the slightest idea.
What do you think?
About 10 or 12 seconds maybe.
Alright, that's a fair guess. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Has anyone here ever lived right next to L tracks?
I live close to them.
They make a lot of noise, don't they? I lived right next to L tracks, and when the train goes by and your window is open, the noise is almost unbearable. You can't hear yourself think.
Okay, you can't hear yourself think. Now get to the point.
The old man heard the boy scream, "I'm going to kill you." Then 1 second later, he heard a body fall. 1 second. That's a testimony, right?
Right.
The woman who testified that she saw the killing through the last 2 cars, and then she saw a body fall, right?
Right.
So?
So the old man would have had to hear the boy scream, "I'm going to kill you," while the front of the L was roaring past his nose. It's not possible that he could have heard it.
What do you mean? Sure, it's possible.
With an L train going by?
He said he yelled it out. That's enough for me.
You know, I really don't think you could have heard it.
Maybe the old man didn't hear it with the L noise.
You crazy? Are you calling the old man a liar?
Well, it stands to reason.
Why would he lie? What's he got to gain?
Attention, maybe.
You keep coming up with these bright ideas. Why don't you send one into the newspaper? They pay $2.
Why might the old man have lied? You have a right to be heard.
It's just I took one long look at him, and the seam of his jacket was torn. Did you notice that? An old man going into court like that. And he carried 2 canes. I know this man better than anybody else here. He's a quiet, frightened, insignificant old man who's been nothing all his life. Who's never been recognized. Who's never been quoted. Names in any newspapers after 75 years. This is very important.
And you're trying to tell us he lied about something like that just so he could be important?
No, I'm not saying he really lied, but perhaps made himself believe he heard those words and recognized the boy's face.
Well, if that isn't just the most fantastic story I've ever heard. How do you make up a thing like that? And what would you know about it?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a job to do here. Let's get to it.
Alright, there's something else I'd like to point out here. I think we proved that the old man couldn't have heard the boy scream, "I'm going to kill you."
Well, I disagree.
But supposing the old man really did hear the boy say, "I'm going to kill you." This phrase, how many times have each of you used it? Probably hundreds. "I could kill you for that, darling. If you do that once more, Junior, I'm going to murder you. Come on, Rocky, kill him." We say it every day. It doesn't mean we're actually going to kill someone.
Now don't tell me he didn't mean it. Anybody who says a thing like that, the way he said it, means it.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you really think the boy would shout out a thing like that so the whole neighborhood would hear it? I don't think so. He's much too bright for that.
Bright. He's an ignorant common slob. He don't even speak good English.
He doesn't even speak good English.
I'd like to change my vote to not guilty.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
This is the end. What are you based on? The stories the girl made up? Are you telling me the old man didn't get out of the bed, run to the door, and see the kid beat it down the stairs 15 seconds after the killing?
Did the old man say he ran to the door?
Ran, walk, what's the difference? He got there.
I don't remember what he said, but I don't see how he could run.
He said he went. He said he went from his bedroom to the front door. That's enough, isn't it?
Where was his bedroom again?
Down the hall. I thought you remember everything. Don't you remember that?
No. Mr. Foreman, I'd like to take a look at the diagram of the apartment.
How about we just run the trial over again so you get everything straight?
Mr. Foreman?
I heard you.
Alright, what's this one for? How come you're the only one in the room who wants to see the exhibits all the time?
Well, I want to see this one too.
And I want to stop wasting time.
Are we going to start wading through all the business about where the body was found?
No, we're going to see how an old man who's had 2 strokes in the past 3 years and who walks with a pair of canes could get to his front door in 15 seconds.
He said 20 seconds.
He said 15.
How could he be... He's an old man. How can you judge that sort of thing?
He said 15 seconds. He was very positive about it.
Like I said, he's an old man. You saw him half the time he was confused. How can he be positive about anything?
Alright, this is a diagram of the apartment. The old man's apartment is directly beneath it and exactly the same. Now the old man was in bed in this room. Says he got up, went out to the hall, down the hall to the front door, and opened it and looked out just in time to see the boy racing down the stairs. Am I right so far?
That's the story.
That's what happened.
His bed was at the window. It's 12 feet the length of the bed to the bedroom door. The length of the hall is about 43 feet 6 inches. Now the old man would have had to get up out of bed, walk 12 feet, open his bedroom door, walk another 43 feet, and open his front door, all in 15 seconds. Do you think it's possible?
You know it's possible.
He can only walk very slowly. They had to help him into the witness chair.
You make it sound like it's a long walk. It's not.
For an old man who had 2 strokes and uses 2 canes, it is a long walk.
What are you doing?
I want to try this thing. Let's see how long it took him.
You're crazy. You can't recreate a thing like that.
This is an important point. If
It's
we
a
can see it.
It's a ridiculous waste of time.
Hand me a chair, please. Alright, this is the bedroom door. How long would you say it is from here to the wall of this room?
I'd say it's about 20 feet.
Alright, 20 feet is close enough. Alright, so from here to the wall and back is about 40 feet. That's shorter than the length of the hall that the old man had to walk through. Wouldn't you say that?
A few feet, maybe.
What made you think you could do this?
According to you, it'd only take 15 seconds. We can spare that. Alright, who's got to watch with the second hand?
I have.
Alright, stamp your foot whenever we're ready, and that'll be the body falling, okay?
Okay.
Let's say he keeps his canes at his bedside, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm ready.
Hurry up.
Oh no, wait till the second hand reaches 60.
Speed it up a little.
I think this is even quicker than the old man walked in the courtroom.
No, it isn't.
If you want me to go faster, I will.
I think he walked a little faster than that.
Stop.
Right.
What's the time?
20, 30, 40, 47 seconds exactly.
Can't be.
It's my guess that the old man heard someone racing down the stairs, couldn't get to the door, and assumed it was the boy.
I think that's possible.
Assumed? Now you people listen to me. I've seen all sorts of dishonesty in my day, but this little display here takes the cake. You come in here with your sanctimonious talk and slum kids injustice, and suddenly you're getting through to some of these people in here. Well, you're not getting through to me. If this isn't the most sickening... the kid's guilty and he's got to burn. We're letting him slip through our fingers here.
Our fingers? Are you his executioner?
I'm one of them.
Maybe you like to pull the switch.
For this kid, you bet I would.
I'm sorry for you.
Don't start with me.
What it must feel like to want to pull the switch.
Shut up.
You're a sadist.
Shut up.
You want to see this boy die because you personally want it, not because of the facts.
Shut up, you... Let go of me, I'll kill her, I'll kill her!
You don't really mean you'll kill me, do you?
What's going on here? I heard some noise.
Nothing. Everything's fine. We're done with this. You can take it back.
Well, what are you looking at?
I don't see why we have to act like children here.
Nor do I. There's a wonderful thing about democracy, that we are, notified by mail to come down to this place on in the sign of the guilt or innocence of a man we have not known before. We have nothing to gain by a verdict here. This is one of the reasons why we are strong. We should not make it a personal thing.
I think we should have another vote, Mr. Foreman.
Sounds fair. Anyone object?
I want an open ballot. Let's call out our votes. I want to know who stands where.
All right then. I'll call out your number and you can vote. I vote guilty. 2,
Not guilty.
3,
Guilty.
4,
Guilty.
5,
Not guilty.
6,
Not guilty.
7,
Guilty.
8,
Not guilty.
9,
Not guilty.
10,
Guilty.
11,
Not guilty.
12.
Guilty.
That's 6 to 6.
I tell you, this fire and making men in this courtroom.
The vote is 6 to 6.
I'm ready to walk into court right now and declare a hung jury. There's no point in going on with this anymore.
How about we just take it into the judge and let the kid take his chance to 12 other guys?
It's got to be unanimous, and we're never going to convince her.
At first I was alone, now 5 others agree. There is a doubt.
Do you truly feel there's no room for reasonable doubt?
Yes, I do.
I beg your pardon, but maybe you don't understand the term reasonable doubt.
What do you mean I don't understand it? Who do you think you are talking to me like that? How do you like this guy? He comes over here right before his life where he can take a big breath. He's telling us how to run the show. The arrogance of him.
Now let's stop all this bickering. Anyone got anything constructive to say?
Well, something's been bothering me a little. The whole business is about the stab wound and how it was made. The downward angle of it, you know?
Don't tell me we're going to start with that. They went over and over it in court.
I know they did, but I didn't go along with it. The boy is 5'8" and his father is 6'2". That's a difference of 6 inches. It's an awkward thing to stab downward into someone who's over half a foot taller than you are.
Look, you're not going to be satisfied until you see it again. I'm going to give you a demonstration. Somebody get up. Okay, now watch this. I don't want to have to do it again. Is this 6 inches?
That's more than 6 inches.
Okay, let it be more.
No, wait, come on! That's not even funny. What's the matter with you?
Now just calm down. Nobody's hurt, are they?
No, nobody's hurt.
There's your angle, down and in. That's how I'd stab a man taller than me, and that's how it was done. Take a look at it. Tell me I'm wrong.
Down and in. I guess there's no argument. Wait a second. What's the matter with me?
Have you ever seen a knife fight?
Yes, I have. Too many of them. In my backyard, on my stoop, on the vacant lot across the street. Too many of them. Switch knives came with the neighborhood I lived in. It's funny I didn't think of it before. I guess you try to forget those things. Anyone who's ever used a switch knife would never stab downward. You don't handle it that way. You use it underhanded.
Then he couldn't have made the kind of wound that killed his father.
I suppose it's conceivable that he could have, but not likely. Not if he had any experience with switch knives. And we all know he had a lot of experience with switch knives.
I don't believe it.
Nor do I. You're giving us a lot of mumbo and jumbo.
What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
I want another vote.
All right. Any objections? I guess the quickest way is a show of hands. Anyone object? All right then. All those voting not guilty, raise your hand. All right then. All those voting guilty? All right. The vote is now 9-3 in favor of acquittal.
I don't understand you people. How can you believe this kid is innocent? Look, you know how these people lie. I don't want to tell you. They don't know what the truth is. And let me tell you, they don't need any big reason to kill someone either. You know, they get drunk and bang. They're in the gutter. That's all they are. You know what I mean? Violence. Human life don't mean anything to me. Where you all going? These people are fighting and drinking. They get killed, so they get killed. They don't care. I know if you were decent. That's the exception. Most of them is like they have no feeling. I'm speaking my piece and you listen to me. Where you all going? What's going on here? I'm trying to tell you something. Listen to me.
I've had enough. If you open your mouth again.
Well, I was trying to tell.
All right, let's sit down. Okay, I still think the boy is guilty of murder, and I'll tell you why. To me, the most damning evidence was given by the woman across the street who actually saw the murder committed.
That's right. As far as I'm concerned, that's the most important testimony.
All right, what exactly did she say?
I believe I can recount it accurately. The woman said she went to bed at about 11 o'clock that night. Her bed is directly adjacent to a window through which she can see into the apartment across the street. She tossed and turned for about an hour, unable to sleep. And at 12:10 a.m., she turned and looked out the window just in time to see the boy stab his father. As far as I can tell, this is unshakable evidence.
That's what I mean. That's the whole story.
I mean, that was my thoughts. In view of this, I don't see how you can vote for acquittal. What do you think?
Well, maybe. But there's so much evidence to sift.
What do you mean, maybe? He's absolutely right. You can throw out all the other evidence.
That was my thought. I mean, I don't deny the validity to some of the points she has made. Shall we say that on one side of the tracks there is doubt, but what can you say about the story of the woman? She saw it?
What time is it?
10 minutes to 6.
Can't you see the clock without your glasses?
Not clearly.
Oh.
They're a nuisance, aren't they?
Well, what do you do when you wake up at night and want to know what time it is?
I put on my glasses and look at the clock.
Do you wear your glasses to bed?
No, who wears glasses to bed?
The woman who testified that she saw the killing wears glasses. What about her?
Does she wear glasses?
Of course, she wore bifocals. They looked quite strong.
That's right, bifocals. She never took them off.
Never thought of that.
I think it's logical to say that the woman wasn't wearing her glasses to bed, and I don't think she'd put them on to glance casually out the window. She said that she looked out the instant the murder took place and a light went out the split second after that. But supposing she really did think that she saw the boy stab his father. I say she only saw a blur.
How do you know what she saw? Maybe she's farsighted. How does she know all these things?
Does anyone still think there's not a reasonable doubt?
I will always wonder, but there is reasonable doubt.
I think he's guilty.
You're alone. Does anyone else?
No. I'm convinced. There's reasonable doubt.
You're alone.
I don't care whether I'm alone or not. I have a right.
Yes, you have a right.
Well, I told you, I think he's guilty. What else do you want?
Your argument.
I gave you my arguments.
We're not convinced. We're waiting to hear them again. We have time.
You're not going to intimidate me. It's going to be a hung jury. That's it.
You're alone.
If it's a hung jury, there will be another trial, and some of us will point out these things to the various lawyers.
All right.
They're waiting. Not guilty. Not guilty.